get from you, because it's been now, Alex, what's today? Day 53?
I think it's day 53, yeah.
Has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah, it's 53 days, Landon, that we've been in quarantine. And I don't remember the date, I'm sure you will, which was the first night of the San Diego Loyal, the new professional soccer team that you have.
March 7th. Yeah.
Okay, so I was there, and I can remember before we went, Alex and I were having this discussion, which was, should we even be going out in big crowds like this? That was early March.
You already had that feeling at that point?
I know it sounds weird.
Because John Browner was wearing masks to the show, and he was like fear-mongering us about this early on.
Well, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I did not fear-monger people. I was trying to heighten awareness to let people know that this was something that we all needed to be aware of and pay proper attention to.
How did you know how did you know that?
I absorbed so much news and information, dude. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't talk about it. At that point,
there was wasn't there 5 cases in Washington State or something at that point?
Yeah, but it had decimated Wuhan at that point, and it was I think at that time it was also tearing up Italy. So it was tearing places up, but it hadn't gotten here. And I knew Alex had already had it twice. I knew a bunch of people who were sick in January. So I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here. And then lo and behold, now New York City's on fire with COVID.
In the meantime, it was March 7th, and I was like, look, I still feel fine. I'm not going to not go to a game. I want to be there to support the team. I want to be there to support the community. I thought it was amazing. I actually was just talking about it the other night with somebody, and I said, look, I don't go to a lot of MLS soccer games. In fact, check that. I've never been to an MLS soccer game. But the point is, I wouldn't know the difference. To me, that looked like strong, fast, competitive. I mean, it looked like MLS soccer to me. But that was March 7th. So what's happened over the course of the last 50 some odd days to you, your business, the team, et cetera?
A lot, as you can imagine. So I'm just shocked that you guys were on it. That maybe I was just so consumed with March 7th that I didn't even think. But that week, so we played Saturday the 7th. That week on the 11th, we played in Tacoma, which Seattle was kind of like the hotbed early on in Washington State. And there were so many messages literally changing by the hour. Once we got there, should we play the game still? Should we come home? What do we do behind closed doors? How many people? Blah, blah, blah. So we ended up playing the game and leaving. And then it seemed to me at that point like the world went on complete lockdown. But since then it's been, I think the hardest thing, everyone would say this from every walk of life, is you just don't know when it's over. So you're trying to, initially we thought, maybe 2 weeks we won't play. Okay, that sucks. And, whatever. Next thing you know, you're sitting in your house for months trying to figure out when you're going to get back after it. Thankfully, we just got word this week that we can start training. So we will, in small groups, start training again on Monday. But it's been a long time.
What would your prediction be? If you were in the heart of your career, in the prime of your playing career, through this period of time, would you have been able to, would you have been motivated to, would you have had the equipment to, et cetera, to have kept yourself in tip-top shape? And what I want to ask you is, do you think when players get back, I don't care what sport it is, do you think that they'll be in the kind of shape they were before this all happened?
Not in soccer. I mean, maybe in basketball, guys, NBA guys have their own home gym or something and they can do drills and that kind of stuff. But in soccer, you have to be actually open, this, Scott, with your dog, you have to open up your legs and run and compete and battle and fight. And that's how you build strength, endurance, all those things. So our guys are going to be, there's nothing, we've been doing Zoom workouts and runs and all, but nothing compares to actually playing. So it's going to be a while. You
said you got clearance to do individual drills or small drills on Monday?
We could do groups of 4 at a time. So it's fine for the players because they just get to go 4 at a time and then leave. For the coaches, it sucks because you got to
be there all day.
Yeah, with 6 different groups. So it's better than nothing, though. I mean, the alternative is we keep sitting in our house. So
who established those rules? Was that a California thing or is that a USL thing?
No, that's the league. So USL sent out a memo to every team saying that there's a ton of protocols we have to go to. Guys have to show up in masks. They get their temperature taken. They stay apart from each other. All kinds of protocol, but it's also per what your state guidelines are as well. So if Gavin Newsom said tomorrow, no groups of more than 2, then we'd have to abide by that. So it's kind of this Yeah, you're kind of trying to thread the needle between all this different info.
Do you think leagues are suffering from misinformation or too much information?
Good question.
I know my answer.
I personally think, well, it's both. I mean, it's both, but I personally think, okay, so if I'm me, so I go on the internet and I go to CNN and I see, people dying every day and more deaths, and I go to a super conservative site that says, this isn't that big of a deal, we're destroying our economy. And then I turn on and I see Trump saying one thing, Dr. Fauci saying another, and then Gavin Newsom saying something else, and then Mayor Faulkner saying something. I don't know what to believe. Right. And I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, can someone just tell me the truth as to what is going on? Give me the facts. Let me make some decisions. But, that's how I feel. What do you feel, Scott?
Well, but let me ask you this, just to follow up on that. If you're you and you're still playing for the LA Galaxy and the team said, look, they've opened up the world. Everybody come back. If that happened today, would you go back?
I would.
Okay, me too. See, 100%. That's what my point would be this. If you asked 20 players on the San Diego Loyal or the LA Galaxy, would you come back right now, whole team, practice together, compete, shower, the whole thing, everything normal? Every single player, in my opinion, would want to come back.
Well, I would say this too, Scott. So the difference actually in USL, our players, 18 of our 25 players live together. So they see each other, they're around each other literally every single day. They're basically like you are with your family, right?
That's a huge difference.
So that is a big
massive
difference. But for me, I'm also, yes, I would go back. I also wouldn't be shaking hands with my grandpa or my mom when I go see them. I would wear a mask and I would stay away from them. And at some point, common sense has to set in. I feel fine. I feel relatively young and healthy and fit, and I can go out and do it. But I'm also not going to be an idiot. I'm going to come straight back home. I'm not going to leave my house except to get food or groceries. I'm not going to go to a bar or a nightclub. I'm not going to be an idiot. So I wish we could use some common sense. I understand why there are broad rules, but we got to use some common sense too.